This program is sponsored by Shenanigans Sports Pub.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim flam sauce with the awesome bay with shafafa on the side.
Happy Friday, happy pre-weekend, happy New Year for those of the Jewish persuasion. Yes, we're coming up this weekend. Sunday night is Rosh Hashanah, the Jewish New Year, the beginning of the Jewish High Holy Days. And in observance of that, here on the Lunchbox, I'm going to take Monday off.
Wow.
Jew, yeah.
Taking off the Jew holidays was always a debate for me, even being Jewish, because I knew I wasn't going anywhere near a shul except many years ago, and I had to stop this practice due to negative, publicity that was surrounding it. Because I did admit that I scalped my Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur tickets at the Temple Bet Yam one year. They were going for 75 face. I sold them for $1.50. I thought I was giving a guy, a huge deal on that. And ever since then, everybody says, hey, listen, you should be working, Defo, because we know you're not going to shul.
And some people can label me a Jew of convenience, but no, it just turns out that this Monday, I got, some new family in town. My cousin wants to come down and see my mother. My brother and sister-in-law are off from work. My daughter is off from work. So I'm going to have a little holiday gathering on Monday afternoon
Nice.
with my mom. Her big meal of the day is usually, the lunchtime. And I'm going to be ordering up a bunch of stuff from Grampa's, where we were yesterday for
It's
a great,
spectacular, by the
another
way.
outing.
Yes.
I love those remotes, especially love the remotes when we show up and the table is already covered in a tsunami of deli and just all kinds of beautiful meats and, smoked salmon and bagels and eggs Benedict and corned beef sandwiches and matzo ball soup. And I ate every one of the dishes in front of me, right? So that was something.
Yes.
You're trying everything. The most impressive, of course, and the people wait for this. It's kind of like your signature move is when you take a sandwich that proportionate to your face is like triple the size, and then somehow manage to shovel it all in one bite. And then what I really like about you, Mike Mayo, and I gained new respect for you yesterday, you didn't even wait for that first bite to clear your Adam's apple. And you already were into a second bite, as if you were like working on an ear of corn. You were treating a giant corned beef sandwich.
The giant python that, you got to kind of keep using those peristalsis muscles as it, just kind of contract as you're, squeezing the life out of the muskrat. In my case, it was the corned beef sandwich. And I get the angle and you go,
It was a pretty incredible performance. And then, as you mentioned earlier this morning on our show, the way you dealt with the mustard, the fact that you forgot to put some on there, and you thought that might enhance the overall flavor, which, a lot of people feel that way. It would have been great. And then you just squirted the bottle as you were chewing the sandwich. You squirted a little spritz of mustard into your mouth.
Well, I didn't,
and it went all over the place. I have to say,
I had
on my shirt
because I had my nice Brooks Brother collared shirt on. I didn't want to chance it with the direct squeeze into the mouth, so I just did it on the finger, like the toothpaste method. And just kind of
it wasn't
the mustard off and
technique that was particularly flattering for a guy that was writing reviews for the Sun Sentinel. But
I think the way he did it's worse. He did it on his fingers.
It was pretty.
The editor saw it, and he stuffed it in his nose. He snorted a little mustard. You're funny. You are a funny eater.
And you would never peg me for being an award-winning critic, would you?
Never. No, not watching that performance.
I'm not a guy that goes around with my little fork and knife and my dainty little what's it called, a cravat.
You hang a little napkin around your chest there that doesn't even go all the way down. It's just like a tiny little square. Wearing a bow tie in there. So you use a lot of terminology nobody understands to describe a tuna sandwich. No, it was great. It was absolutely fantastic. Good job, though, by Mark. And the Knish was
Mark Fried and then Mark Goldberg. They're great. They glad that they're going to be back on board, and we're going to be having them as sponsors. And I want to put in the good word. I am going to be picking up my Rosh Hashanah for the platter for the family meal feast on Monday. And
Now,
yeah,
what's the deal? You eat throughout Rosh Hashanah, right? It's like New Year's.
Yes,
no,
yes,
no,
yes.
Rosh Hashanah.
There's no fasting involved. There's no
course.
starvation.
You
Nothing
know,
of that nature. Okay.
for particularly observant Jews, you are supposed to go to temple, and I never understood the whole ticketing thing. I guess it's like,
Oh, it's ridiculous indeed. But you
yeah.
think 75 is bad? They're pulling moves now, boy.
That was years ago, though, Lubie.
It's
That
like
was
up
like
to
20 years ago.
200. It was 200.
200, two sticks.
per person for the high holidays.
Now,
Now,
as soon
Hall
as
and
you
Oates
know-
perform there also. I mean, at least you get some old bar mitzvah
You get
band
4
or something.
days or
What?
5 days. I don't know.
That's
Yeah,
it.
you know what? That's not my scene. If I'm going to start scalping tickets, I want it to be for a Dolphins game or maybe a concert. Last night, Green Day was at the Hard Rock. I missed it. I should have gone. But again, these days, ticket prices for
Same.
concerts going over north of $200 a ticket, and I don't know. Call me old. I just don't like spending that much money for one
It's a
night.
lot of bread.
I was spoiled. I didn't buy a ticket.
I
for
believe it
this
was
year.
$3.50, and we saw Jimi Hendrix, Janis Joplin, and the who were the brothers, Chambers Brothers, that had that song "Time."
Right.
Those three at the Singer Bowl, $3.50.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I have
$3.50.
old ticket stubs from from ball games and concerts, and here we are, a bunch of old men complaining about
Two
inflation.
sticks is a lot, though, to go see a
That's
band, is it not? I mean, now you're talking like, are you going alone, or you're making your spouse or your
Well, you
girlfriend
see what
buy
the
her ticket?
Springsteen are? The Springsteens at the Hard Rock Live, because it's a
Yeah.
small venue and
You know,
Springsteen doesn't make like $1,000.
Right. No, more than that, probably like $2 or $3 grand. And Green Day was at also Hard Rock Live, the smaller venue, and the 200 was the cheap seats up above, and every seat in
wow.
that place is pretty good. But it's like in order to get down on the floor or even that second level, you're talking about like 300 or so, and it's just like, everybody has their breaking point. I would much rather spend that on food and wine, and even now, I don't spend it that often. That has to be a special occasion kind of thing. But getting back to the holiday, the other reason I want to take Monday off is just because the way my numbers are going, I think I really do have to pray. I do a little bit of praying to get into the book of life for what is the Jewish New Year? Is it like 59, 40? I gotta research these
year?
things. Let's see, Jewish New Year. Let's see, it's going to
what is
be
the year? Yeah.
5783. I think that sounds right, maybe.
All
right. Yes, here it goes. 5783 is going to be.
So you're trying to make it to
celebrated.
5,800. At the minimum.
At 17 to 56, we're already well into the. That's almost your age,
It's
Defo.
a little bit higher. I hope to
Yeah.
make. Well, you only gave me 2 years to live. I mean,
I think
extrapolation that you did off your own numbers that you got back yesterday, which you weren't particularly, happy about, as I could see.
No, it was pretty shameful, and I need to get myself into. I did another walk this morning. As long as I keep moving,
Good for you. Yeah, that's the thing. Move your body. It counterbalances all of the rest.
I had Eric with me. It's his final day in town. He's leaving, going back to Oregon later. And I do need to do a full retraction and apology to my friend, college buddy Eric. He's been here all week. Last night, instead of going to Tropical Acres, and I didn't tell him that I had one of those punch cards that would have been good for a free
you would have had a free
$35 entree. He might have jumped at that. Instead, because he's from Oregon, he doesn't get too much in the way of South American and Cuban food he always liked. So I gave him a choice last night of going to either Cuban or Peruvian, and he chose Peruvian.
All right.
And we ended up going for my first time, a place that Dick Steen highly recommends. Place in Fort Lauderdale on Oakland Park Boulevard called Salamar Ceviche Bar.
Salamar Ceviche Bar. Okay.
Yeah, it has a nice ring to it, a poetic ring. And they have a lovely array of different ceviches, which I happen to love, especially when the weather is warm. I don't know about you. Defo,
Anytime. If it's well made, I'm a big fan of ceviche.
Really? Because I didn't peg you for a raw fish guy. I don't know. Why,
I mean, it just depends, how it's made. I like that kind of, vinegary, oily, sort of flavor on seafood sometimes. And I do enjoy ceviche. Always do.
Yeah, no, if it's well made, and I love that marinade. They start with the kind of lime juice, leche de tigre. Last night, Salamar, we had you have to upgrade if you don't have to, but like the basic one uses swai fish, which I don't know if you know too much about swai, but
it doesn't sound like something that you really are going to be happy if you catch.
Yeah, it's It's not my hobby.
Yeah.
It's like a bottom feeder. It's like a catfish.
Yeah,
It's
I
a
just
swai to me.
Such
It sounds
ugliness,
like,
my friend. Yes.
yeah,
it's not
it's
here where you can get all this fish. Like, why would you eat that?
You can
well,
have all the swai fish you want, Mayo. I mean, should they specify what they make it with, or
They usually
is it
do. They
just
usually
generally
tell you
accepted?
what the fish are.
well, no,
Yeah.
I always ask, and again, this is one of the things on Let's Eat South Florida. These people, I don't know what they just go to a restaurant and they just mindlessly accept whatever happens to them, and without asking, because the
And then
menu
complain
had
about it.
And then
right,
complain.
right. Because the menu here last night had, basic ceviche, and then it said it was like the premium especial, and that one specified Corvina fish, which I happen to like Corvina.
That's very
It's a little
nice.
bit
You get that.
higher
They do it
grade.
great at Cafe Seville.
Yeah,
Corvina
and
is
we
often on the
did
menu.
we did a mixed one, which so
Yes,
besides
our favorite.
having fish, it has a little bit of the pulpo, the octopus, it has a little bit
Yeah,
of shrimp,
and shrimp.
and this one we got with their special Salamar sauce. So beyond the regular leche de tigre, it had a little red pepper cream mixed it into
Nice.
the
Nice. That's
a little bit of a spicy kick with the leche de tigre. That was absolutely fantastic. And Eric also wanted to have some tostones. I'm not a tostone fan. I'm not a
I
big
like my
on.
noodles. I don't like tostones. I'd rather get the sweet plantains. I don't really want a tostone.
Yeah, to me, first of all, I don't like the overly fried things and anything that's kind of that starchy. And a tostone, is that also a fried plantain, or is it
It's the same
is it a
thing. Just
banana?
one is when the plantain's old as heck and it becomes really sweet. Old as hell. We can say old as hell. Old as hell,
Yeah,
and it becomes really sweet. And then when you cook it, that's how you get that caramelization
right,
in the
right.
oil. When
It's the
it's
crunch. You get a
greener,
good crunch.
no, that's the sweet one. If you go to
Oh, okay.
Pollo
Some of the
Tropical, the
yeah,
sweet ones. When they're green, they're not sweet, but they're good for salty. And that's when you'll make them, the flatter the pound it down, and then they make
right.
tostones out of the green.
Right. Okay. So, well, yeah, the green one. So it wasn't sweet, and it
No,
wasn't.
no,
I just, I
no, no.
took a couple of bites. Not my favorite. We also
That's
had as an appetizer it's like a boiled potatoes that they have. It's a Joaquina sauce, that like yellow cheese sauce, and they
gallina.
put some.
I
Yeah,
hate the
yeah,
gallina. That's our favorite.
yeah.
That's my favorite one.
It was good. Eric is a big cheese fan. Besides being called El Cheapo, we call him Cheddar Boy because he just munches on blocks of cheddar cheese. So he particularly enjoyed that one. And then we finished up with a combo dish. It was great. He was going to get the Lomo Saltado, and Lomo Saltado, is kind of a wok fried beef.
Yeah, it's
Because
good.
Peruvian has a big Chinese and Japanese influence there, and it's kind of like a soy sauce kind of thing. But instead of the Lomo Saltado, which is usually served over rice and French fries, it's like a double
Yep.
starch dish. I wasn't in the mood for rice, but they have this tremendous. I love this, the pesto pasta, like the green pasta that they toss in a
Oh
nice
yeah.
garlic pesto sauce, and they had that with on the side. It was a combination of like the cubes of beef with shrimp in
Ooh,
that Lomo Saltado soy sauce thing with
that's
diced sauteed peppers and onions. And the combination of those two things, the shrimp, the beef, the Lomo Saltado like sauce with the pesto pasta, it was an incredibly good dish. It was
Wow.
huge. It was $26. It was the value of the night.
you guys were
And
able to share it because it was
yeah,
big.
we
And what
shared
was
all
that
this
called?
stuff.
What was that called when you ordered it?
I forgot. We just called it the combo, like because
I've never heard of that one. That's interesting.
I don't
We
know
use
what
a
they
lot of
called
those.
it. I forget. I didn't even look on the menu. It was one of those things that had a little picture on the menu, and our waitress pointed to that when I asked, "Do you have any pasta
I
dishes?" I
want
was like,
that.
"Yeah,
Yeah.
bring that." And and so we over ordered, and we also got a pitcher of sangria, and that's where they got us, But it was a delicious red sangria with all these chunks of beautiful fresh fruit, blueberries and strawberries. So Salamar was excellent. Dixteen gave me a good recommendation. And it's a humble place, storefront, wasn't too crowded, and then a huge family came in while we were in the middle of our main course. Thank goodness, because it was like 14 of them, including like 7 kids, and that would have backed up the kitchen. But we got all our food. It was very efficient. And Eric El Cheapo no more because he
He grabbed the
graciously
check.
picked up the check,
Oh, he paid the
and
whole
it was he paid the whole check, and it was pushing
check.
3 figures. It was 3 figures. It was
Wow.
At least
$107 with tax, and that's
How
where you
much?
get.
How much did it hurt him though when you later informed him that you could have had a free meal on your punch card
Oh,
at
did you
Tropical
tell him?
Acres,
I
where
I
he
still
could have
haven't
picked up
told
the
him
check
that.
He
and
didn't
paid even
tell him.
less?
He
I
didn't
still
tell
haven't told him
No,
that,
he
and he's
didn't.
leaving town at 3:00. We're going for a late lunch at
I
Shenanigans.
hope he's
We're gonna get
watching the
some.
show because
Oh
he's
no,
probably
he's in
seething
the
right
next
now.
room,
You can hear it.
and well, he might be able to hear it. He's busy chatting up my mother now, so he's screaming. But no, the bottom line is he was very generous, so I can call him cheapo no more, even though he refused to put in some money to get the free play at the casino the other night. But that's his business, and that's fine.
Maybe he's not a
But
gambler.
no,
Maybe he
he's
doesn't
not a
approve of the
gambler.
practice. It's possible.
Yeah, no, he plays poker. He got busted out early with aces, pocket aces. He got run down. It's
I
terrible.
want to
But
know what you did, Mike Mayo, because now that the show's so popular on Let's Eat South Florida, what you did to the New York Racing Association to convince them to start the Belmont and Aqueduct cards at 2:00, so that we could make the first race and make sure that they got some of our money in the pool for the early pick 5.
I can assure you I had nothing to do with that because I am boycotting Naira and their ridiculous alliance with the Fox Sports networks because you can never find the races anymore. It used to be great when TVG and now it's FanDuel, but at least they would carry the whole racing card from start to finish on TVG. And now with the bounces around where you have a half hour on Fox Sports 1 and then a half hour on Fox Sports 2 and then a half hour where it's on no place except
C-SPAN.
YouTube.
You have to turn to get the third at Aqueduct. It's crazy.
So I've just gotten tired of the whole thing, and I'm sitting out the month of September now. I told you I'm on the
All right.
I'm on the
It's noble.
on the fence or whatever you call it. I'm just kind of cooling my heels until Keeneland opens the fall meet, going right into the big Breeders' Cup at Keeneland, and
That might help all of your blood work and numbers also. The fact that you're not playing the ponies for a month.
help my bank account a little bit. But,
at least you'll be able to pay for these doctor visits.
yeah, and I'll be able to pay for my own meals now that Eric is going back home, so that's okay. But
steak doesn't sound too bad for 2 people. Sounds like you had a lot of food.
No, we had a lot of food.
You were complaining about the wine. Did he compute the price of the wine and deduct that from the percentage he was going to leave on the tip?
No, he left. I made him tip the
right.
20. It was $20 for.
What kind of tipper is he? If he's a cheapskate, you would figure 15%.
Again, the bill before the tax was $103, and he put the $20 bill down. So
okay, that's appropriate.
That's enough.
Right.
But it brings me to the discussion of so again last night the